I love your feet because they have wandered over the earth and through the wind and water until they brought you to me. Our feet carry our journeys. They hold our stories. From the first steps we take through childhood and into adulthood. Every step records a sound. Every step holds a memory. It's through our movements our lives grow and change. And it's our feet that carry us through all life's joys and pains. This is the sound of Little Feet. A podcast about identity and family, orphans, foster care, and adoption. A little bit of wonder and awe, and the power of healing through play. These are the stories of people like you and me, and the journeys all of our feet have traveled to be here today. For a few minutes, just put everything down and come with me. Let's go on a treasure hunt together, and let's just see if we can find ourselves some gold and diamonds. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Sound of Little Feet podcast. And this is our final episode of the year. Today is episode number 11. Originally, we had planned to air 13 episodes, but unfortunately, due to circumstances out of my control, there's something going on in my personal life that I need to deal with, so we have to end this season a little bit earlier than expected. But don't worry, the Sound of Little Feet podcast will be back, we promise, at the end of January for season number 2. Right now, I just want to take a moment to thank each of you individually for sharing, listening to, and watching the Sound of Little Feet podcast over the past 2 months. This podcast was started as an extension of the Sound of Little Feet, a community that is focused on identity and family, trauma and abuse, orphans, foster care and adoption, wonder and awe, and the power of healing through play. In spite of it being one of the most turbulent years of my life so far, I knew I was supposed to start this podcast. Everything in my life that was going on was definitely taking up all my attention, but it was all the more reason, and it resonated all the more why I needed to create this podcast now. Honestly, I've been thinking about creating this podcast for 2-3 years now. I just didn't know how to take the first step, and I wasn't ready a year ago, and maybe I'm not even ready now, but I know it's the right time. I owe so much of the existence of this podcast right now, as it is, to Alex DePalma and Seth Godin. Because of you two, the pressure you put on me, the support that you gave to me, this podcast is on iTunes, it's on YouTube, it's on Stitcher, it's on SoundCloud, it's out there. And I don't know, I'm so just thankful for the both of you and grateful that you two allowed for this type of podcast to exist. So thank you both for your support so much. It means more to me than I'll ever be able to say to the both of you. So, our first season has focused on abused, abandoned, and orphaned children here in Japan. I really hope that you've learned something about Japan and about some of the most vulnerable children in Japan through these 11 episodes of our first season. Since I currently live in Tokyo, Japan, I wanted to focus the first season on issues related to Japan. Because my father was born here, and I returned back here to trace my father's journey, and which led me to what I'm doing now in trying to help children here in Japan. From season 2, we are now going to start expanding more globally, and we're going to hear stories and talk to guests from around the world that are related to the issues that we talk about here on the Sound of Little Feet. The 2019 theme for the Sound of Little Feet will be based on a quote from Joseph Campbell. It's in fact one of my favorite quotes. He states, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. I have so many caves in my own life that I'm afraid to enter. And I know there are so many of you who have caves that you have forgot about, caves you don't even know how to find your way back to, caves that you are deeply afraid of entering, but caves nonetheless you know you need to enter in order to find the treasure that you're seeking, whatever that may be. Because for each of us, the treasures we seek are very different, but all are valuable, because each of us are valuable. So I believe in 2019, we each need to grab our flashlights and we need to head into those caves together, no matter where they lead. This is about adventure. This is about facing fear. This is about becoming who we are meant to be. And this is about supporting others. We only have us. We're in this together, and we have to support each other. And that means we have to go into the caves together. However that may look like for each journey, we have to go into the caves together. Before we wrap up, I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. I want to wish all of you from various faiths and various traditions who are celebrating in many special and wonderful ways around the world the happiest of holidays. I want this podcast to be a place of inclusion, and a place that you feel accepted, and a place that you feel welcome back to any time of the year. I know this time of year is filled with so much joy for so many of us. If for you this time of year is filled with joy and celebration, then feel it with all of your heart and share as much joy with others as you can. But if for you, the holiday season is not filled with joy and it brings reminders of painful memories from the past, I don't want you to feel lonely, I don't want you to feel alone, and I don't want you to feel sad and depressed during the holidays. This time of year can feel very isolating and depressing for many people around the world. While I've had a lot more of my holidays filled with joy and celebration than I have filled with depression and pain, there have been Christmases and New Year's where I felt complete depression and emptiness, sadness and anger. I'm never going to claim to know that the bad memories, the pain, the anger, the depression that you have dealt with and that you maybe are still dealing with. I can't speak to that. But I do personally know what it feels like to feel empty when everyone around you is celebrating and feels filled with joy. I don't have any advice, and I don't have any answers to give to you if you are going through a really rough time right now. But I don't want to ignore your feelings, because your feelings matter. What personally got me through my rough times were long runs, lots of walks with coffee, watching lots of comedy, writing my feelings on paper, and then lighting that paper on fire and just letting those feelings go and evaporate. And then, most importantly, I think just time. I mean, the only thing I could say to you is just please don't give up. Don't give up, because right now is right now, but it's not tomorrow. I came across this quote by Charlie Kaufman this year, and I keep going over it again and again. I love it so much. So I want to end this podcast with this quote. Say who you are. Really say in your life and in your work. Really say it in your life and in your work. Tell someone out there who is lost. Someone not yet born. Someone who won't be born for another 500 years. Your writing will be a record of your time. It can't help but be. More importantly, if you are honest about who you are, you will help someone else be less lonely in their world. Charlie Kaufman. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek.
Everyone's got an ache. Every heart is bound to break. Everyone's trying hard, meaning well, falling far. Everyone's a little child, reaching up, brushed aside. Everyone's got an ache. Think we know, so afraid of letting go.